Do you ever feel like wolfing out? I do sometimes. It's hard to keep that shit under wraps, you know what I'm saying? You gotta hold that beast right down and just be like, not today, Satan. Not today. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Get out of my head! This story is called Child of the Deep. A little girl sat weeping by the sea. The waves crashed and rose against the rocks as her tears flowed. She cried so much the tears trickled into the crashing waves, and as they met, the waves slowly calmed. Suddenly, she heard a voice rise from the ocean, a deep, soothing voice that said softly to her, "Why do you cry, little one?" The little girl sniffled and lifted her head wide-eyed. She thought she was alone. She saw a tentacled limb reach out from the deep and come towards her, and her heart started pounding furiously. Don't hurt me," she cried, as she began crab walking backwards in fear away from the tentacle. The voice just said calmly, "Hush now. I won't hurt you. I'd never eat one of my own. You don't taste right." The little girl stopped, blinked a few times, and stared in bewilderment at the tentacle. "I don't understand," she began, but the voice cut her off. "I know. You've always been mine, little one. From the moment of your birth. It's why you don't get along with land creatures. They don't understand your needs. You are wearing a mask, but I know the true you, the one you're crying about that lives inside you. Don't cry, little one. You are a more beautiful and fearsome beast than they will ever dream of being." The little girl sniffled and slowly stood up, sand clinging to her clothes. She kept staring in amazement at the tentacle and the sea, unsure how to feel. So many things swirled inside her, and she felt the creature the sea was speaking of, the one under the human disguise, the one that was trying to burst out of her whole life. "People don't like monsters," she said to the sea in a small, broken voice. She looked down at her feet then, and for a moment remembered not having feet. It seemed so long ago now. The days when she could swim with fins, tentacles, and flippers, when she could run with paws and fur. My mother called me a monster the day I was born. My grandmother called me a monster, my sister, even the people who said they were my friends. Once they see the real me, they run away, or they hate me. They hate me with almost more passion than how much they claim to love me. They know I'm different, but when I warn them how much, they think I'm just exaggerating. Then I show them a limb. Sometimes I let my eyes go red. Sometimes my hand is aflame. Sometimes I show them my tentacles and fangs. The large green tentacle from the sea gently eased its way towards her again, and when she didn't flinch, it finally touched her. It stroked her face ever so softly. It was wet and a little slimy, but it was the kindest touch this little girl had ever known. It almost hurt, it was so tender to her, and her eyes welled up with tears again. "Little one, I understand. I made you, not your mother or anyone else. Not their words, their punches, or their fear. Only other creatures like myself will ever be able to understand and love you. The trick is to be able to see them past their disguises. They'll be wearing them too, like you, to walk on land." The little girl nodded and wiped the snot from her nose on her sleeve, uncaring. The tears flowed again, but she understood. "So I'm not alone then?" "Never alone. You are a child of the deep," said the sea creature, and it stroked her one last time before going back into the ocean. "Never alone. And we are all around you in human skins, trying to find ways to cope too." The little girl smiled at that and waved goodbye to the tentacle. After a few moments alone on the beach, she looked around herself several times before shaking out her hair. Slowly, Curling tentacles bounced instead of waves of hair, and she skipped along the beach that way, picking up bones and shells. She was no longer lonely, and now she could enjoy being alone. Thank you for listening. If you like my readings, please let me know in the comments below, because this is my second one that I've done. I know I'm not that great at it, but I like practicing. I like just reading my own stuff that I've written and hearing it, you know, in my own ears, repeated back to me over and over again while I'm editing. Thank you guys so much. Like, comment, and subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Thank you to all the new subscriptions that came in. I'm so glad that you guys came and celebrated my 400th subscription, because I love my little milestones, as you guys know. I also got this awesome gift from Laura, from Laura's Looney Bin. I love my freaky girls. I'm glad they adopted me. I feel like this poor little girl in the story, you know, and they're the tentacled creatures of the deep going, "Come, Queenie, come join your sisters." I will join you, my wicked witch sisters. Speaking of which, so Freaky Girls Live is this Saturday. We're talking about Martyrs and Phantasm, I believe. So I love both those movies. This is going to be fun, especially Martyrs. I don't know if you guys know how much I love Martyrs, but if you've watched any of my videos, I'm sure I've mentioned it. That movie broke me the first time I watched it. It was so hard. Oh, I love it though. I love it so much. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for helping me get to my little milestones. Let's just keep getting those milestones, right? I think they're important when you're doing projects like this, you know, YouTube channels and whatnot. So thank you guys so much. I'll be back with another video real soon. And until next time, kitties, howl at the moon for me. And maybe give me a high five tentacle. How about that? Ow! Join me in the deep. Bye-bye.